How can I get my boyfriend to stop dismissing my feelings? It's breaking my heart. And my boyfriend is, and we've been dating long distance for 4 years. He's come see me a few times, and the first 2 years of our relationship were great, and these last 2 have been increasingly difficult. I need to start by stating I have messed up in the relationship before, but I have changed my behaviors. Before, when he and I would argue, we'd yell at each other, and now I never tell or raise my voice when things are tense between us, but he still does. Today we got into an argument and we had a misunderstanding. I was telling him how I don't talk to other guys that like me because it makes it easier for both him and I, since we don't have to deal with the drama that comes with it. He kept saying to me that he doesn't care that I do that, and I just felt a little bit sad because I just wanted him to appreciate me a little bit. Then he got upset at me and said that every time I try to persuade him, he just lies to agree with me, and I didn't understand why he brought that up, so I asked him why he said that, and he said it's because he doesn't think I deserve to be appreciated, since he doesn't see it as a favor, since he doesn't care about it. Then he leaves his desk, but his mic is still on, and he says that he hates me multiple times without intending for me to hear it. That breaks my heart a little bit, and I just get pretty sad from already being sad, and I go in apologies to him saying it was my fault I brought the topic up in the first place. Then he proceeds to act like he doesn't care about my apology by saying ahoy. Then I just start weeping because I couldn't hold in my sadness anymore, and he asks what's wrong, and I said it's because I overheard him say he hates me. He then sighs really loud and says I wasn't supposed to hear that, and says he doesn't want to talk about it anymore, and says that the conversation isn't making him feel any better. We've been having arguments like this where I go and apologize first and comfort him and address what's bothering him, but when it comes to me, I feel like my feelings are unresolved and I just don't know what to do, since trying to communicate them doesn't work. I'm just wishing he could comfort me or address how I feel when I feel down as well. He just wants me to get over my own feelings and act like the thing never happened so he can get on with his life. Story 2. Relationship between me and boyfriend is stressful despite reciprocated efforts and doing everything to make things better. Me and my boyfriend were friends online for a year before we decided to try dating each other. The first 5 months of our relationship were online, and when I moved to his city for college purposes, we started dating in person. It's been about 3 months. My parents don't know about him because they are extremely strict Muslims and he is a white Christian. I would get disowned and right now require their financial support. They don't know that I plan to stay in his city for the sake of being able to date him, and pressure me constantly on grades so I can get into a nicer school that's close to home. Understandably, they find it unreasonable to pay for me to live in another city for a mess school when it would be cheaper and more beneficial for them if I lived closer. But they don't understand I just want to be close to my partner. Our relationship was never easy cause of meeting online and navigating all of that, but the first 5 or so months were pretty great. It's really ever since dating in person that issues have arisen, and I'm really worried that a collection of external stresses as well as minor incompatibility issues is stealing the joy from our relationship. We love each other deeply, respect each other constantly, are both willing to do anything for each other and really truly admire each other and are happy to spend time together. We've both supported each other before dating through our darkest periods and have become best friends. But I really hate this city cause it's not home, and he can't afford to move to mine literally in cause of his college. I struggle to go to school cause of anxiety and depression, and really the only social interaction I get is with him, his family, and when I visit my parents at home who live 5 hours away. Our issues mostly started when it hit me that I basically signed up for leaving the town I love just for the sake of being together. This hurt a lot, but after finding some ways to visit home more often for cheaper prices, things have felt better. This situation doesn't feel trapping like it did. My parents are also emotionally abusive and were the main cause of my severe depression, so it's actually good to be away from them despite them being my only support system. I know the issue is that I'm not putting in enough effort to make friends and get involved with this city, but to be fair, it's a very depressing, suffocating city environment that I just can't thrive in. Either way, the issue that first started destroying our happiness, the idea of me going back home, has been resolved at least until my parents can be convinced to let me remain here next year. After that, Things got better, but my emotions were really getting all over the place, so I told my boyfriend I think I need to start my antidepressants again to stabilize, and cause I wanted to avoid another depressive episode. This time with no therapist or parents and just my boyfriend who cannot help. He was encouraging and supportive, but as anyone who's taken antidepressants knows well, the side effects change you. As soon as I took them, I became an unresponsive, unaffectionate zombie, and this stressed him out a lot. I decided it wasn't worth it to take antidepressants if it was killing our intimacy, and besides, I've handled my mental issues without medicine before. This problem gets solved, but the next few weeks I really have no desire for intimate anymore, even though we used to be incredibly passionate, both of us. This bothers him a lot, and he asks quite frequently and tries really hard to get me in the mood again. But I just tell him I'm overloaded with stressors and need time to come back to prioritizing intimate stuff. He understands and backs off. Then things got very nice again for a week or so, till we suddenly had a discussion about whether we would raise kids as Christian or not. I'm atheist and told him I'll most likely definitely remain that way, and I want my kids to grow up with religious freedom and not experience the abuse and trauma I did growing up due to pressures to conform. He said he wants that too, but he thinks they need to be raised Christian until they can decide for themselves later on. He also said gayness is against his religion and he'd prefer his kids not to be gay, which disappointed me, but ultimately he would love them and try to support them unconditionally. But he started breaking down crying when I said I couldn't convert to his religion. It really hurt to see him that way, and I felt terrible. I could never be there for him religiously as his partner in life. I know it was wrong, but I told him he deserved to have everything he wants in a partner, and that I'm sorry I couldn't change, and I'd rather him find happiness in someone who could be what we truly wants. He said it just upset him momentarily, but ultimately it wasn't a deal breaker and we moved on. But this was the first time we were on the verge of breaking up, it felt like. Now I am just drained, and I think depressed or burned out, as I have abandoned self-care and hobbies and can barely find energy to get out of bed and go to the bathroom. I am always sad, drained, and angry, and it seeps into our relationship even though we have solved most of our biggest problems. I love him but have become bad at reciprocating intimate desire and physical affection even though I would like to. I don't know what to do, and it feels like I'm suffocating from the stress. It's like I'm watching myself become this stony, unfeeling thing while screaming at myself to be a better partner and to just be relaxed and happy with him. I want him in our future together, and the idea of not having him in my life makes me break down in tears as if a loved one's died. What are we doing wrong, and why do we keep draining each other? How do we get back to the easiness of the relationship we had in the beginning? How do I stop making him and myself unhappy? Story 3. How do I break up with my long-term, 8 years, partner amicably without him putting the guilt trip on me? Okay, so I haven't felt feelings towards my long-term partner for a long time. Like, I can still get along with him and generally speaking. But I lost feelings for him a long time ago. The sex is horrible. He only plays with my V for a few minutes and then he just wants to stick PIV, and I never feel satisfied after it. He gets angry all the time over small and petty things. He is a disgrace and never cleans up after himself. It's disgusting. Whenever I clean up something, it's worse than what it was before I cleaned it. We have been together for like 7 or 8 years now. He's had one proper job the whole time we have been together, and that lasted less than a year. I have been working for the past 5 years and full-time the last 2 years. The house is almost becoming a goddamn junkyard because he brings so much shit back. And I don't want anything else brought back, and I have told him time and time again. And the house, it's embarrassing. I don't want anybody to come over because it's always in a state, and I'm just over it. We have 2 dogs and I had a daughter from previous relationship. He doesn't have family really, as he was adopted, but his real mom died when he was a baby. His real dad died a few years ago. His half-brother is locked up and his adoptive mom and siblings don't really speak to him. But his full sister tries to talk to him, but he can't stand her and doesn't speak to her. Between us, we don't really have any friends left really. We have either lost communication or just wiped people off. I hate feeling like I'm isolated. I don't want my daughter to grow up thinking this is normal. I tried breaking up with him a few months ago, but he put me on the full guilt trip saying he'll lose everything and my family is basically his family and made me feel so sorry for him. I don't want to have an ugly breakup, but I can't stand him any longer. I honestly have almost just given up completely, but I can't live any longer unhappy like I have been. I barely go out. I don't really have many friends I speak to, and I have been battling with severe depression and anxiety since my teen years. Can someone please help me, and what should I do to be able to break up with him amicably?